If you clicked on this video, you're searching YouTube and trying to figure out how to start in mobile filmmaking. Whether you want to create content for yourself for YouTube or for personal use, or you want to take your phone and really see the limits that you can push it, and you want to know the type of gear to help you get the best results when it comes to using your phone. So I'm going to give you the first 5 things you should purchase or look into purchasing when you want to get into mobile filmmaking. So the first thing is what's in your pocket, your phone, right? So having a phone, man, phones have come so far, you know, in comparisons to camera, in terms of quality. And so, you know, being able to have like an iPhone or a Samsung or another Android device, whatever it may be, you know, has really opened up the doors for people to be able to create content. You know, so there are always going to be limitations on phones, just like there's limitations on cameras. So whatever your phone's limits are, you want to make sure you understand them. Whether the quality of the content, whether, you know, for example, can you shoot in 4K? Or some of the downsides is in regards to low light, you know, how is your footage going to do if you are in a low light setting or in a very, you know, bright setting? So, you know, there's always going to be limitations that you have when it comes to recording anything on your phone. And so one of the biggest things, especially nowadays, and if you are, like I said, doing research and learning, is understanding the quality, right? Like I said, I have an iPhone, and most nowadays, most phones record in 4K or 2K or even higher than 4K. And really what that does, it just gives you more room to do certain things in post-production, right? When you're using, you know, your software, whatever it may be, to import that footage. So a lot of times you'll record in 4K, but your timeline might be 1080p. Right? And one of the benefits to that is that it's going to allow you to crop in if you need to get a little bit of a closer shot of whatever you're filming. And so that's why a lot of people will shoot at a higher quality and then maybe do a timeline at a lower quality to be able to do that kind of stuff. You know, if you've watched any of the videos that I've created, I always emphasize the importance of the source, right? The better the quality of the source, the easier it's going to be for you to work on. Whether, like I said, it's cropping in your timeline, whether it's color grading, whatever that may be, you know, you want to make sure that you understand the limitations and what type of gear you need to get the most out of your phone. So the second thing that we are going to be talking about is audio. You know, the quality of video is super important, but audio is just as important. And a lot of times you can get away with having a lower quality video, but if your audio is not good, you know, a lot of time that's going to impact how you're being able to tell your story. That's going to turn away people from being able to, you know, really connect with the story because they're having a hard time hearing what you're trying to portray, or they hear a lot of echo, whatever it may be. And so even though the phone has microphones, you want to understand the limitations of those microphones. You want to understand, you know, how close you have to be to that microphone. You want to understand if you move away, how much ambient noise or white noise or static noise are you going to pick up from being able to use that internal microphone. And so being able to invest in something like a lav mic like this, for example, is definitely going to help you on being able to really get the best audio from your phone. And so you can have something like a lav mic that, has a wire that can plug into your phone, right? And if you're doing videos like these, like talking heads, that's gonna be great because you're not gonna be moving that far away from the phone. And so that's gonna be completely great. But if you're filming, for example, videos where your subject is gonna be far away from the phone and you can't have a very long wire, or the wire can't be seen on the shot, being able to invest in a wireless microphone is definitely something you can look into. So I have a Rode Go wireless mic that, a portion of it attaches to my phone and the other portion stays on the subject. And so really it's going to depend on what type of content you're going to be creating with your phone. I can't emphasize that, like I said, a lot of times you can get away with not having the greatest quality footage, but if you don't have good audio, it's going to turn a lot of people away maybe. So definitely something that I recommend you looking into. All right, number 3. So we've spoken about the quality of the video, the quality of the audio. Now, how are you going to record into it? Now you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, I'm just gonna record on the native, app on my phone. And maybe that's going to work for you depending on the content you're creating. But for example, on the iPhone, you're going to have limitations of what you can control in the native app. You're really gonna just control brightness, right? A little bit of contrast here and there, how bright you want it. And you're gonna be able to control the focal length, for example, of the video. But that's pretty much it. You don't have that much more control when it comes to using the native app on your phone. So there are companies out there that offer you, third-party apps to give you all of the controls that your camera has to really give you the best result for success. And so one of the apps that I use is Filmic Pro. Filmic Pro is really gonna tap into every capability that your phone offers when it comes to recording. You'll be able to control your ISO. You're going to be able to control your shutter speed. You'll be able to control whether, on the newer phones, if you want to record in 8-bit or 10-bit. You'll be able to choose which microphone you want to use, whether it's the front microphone, the back microphone, all of the microphones together. And so really, it unlocks the phone's capability and really gives you a lot of tools that you want to be able to have access when it comes to creating content. All right, number 4, a very, very important aspect whenever you're filming anything is lighting. Now, first off, lighting is very subjective, but there are right ways of lighting and there are bad ways of lighting. But it's really gonna determine, once again, on the type of content you create. Now, the phones, a lot of them are going to have the limitations of low light. A lot of the newer phones have better low light capability, but if it's too dark, your phone is going to have some very, very grainy, and the quality is not gonna look good. And so being able to control the source of light when you're recording is going to be key, right? And there's a lot of different ways of doing it. There's some low cost ways of doing it, and there's some extremely expensive, lights out there. So it's really gonna depend on your budget. You can get some very inexpensive umbrella style lights that allow you to, direct light to your subject. You can get softbox lights, which is what I have here, that give you a nice soft light, because the smaller the light source, the harsher that light is going to be. Now, I created a video that you can check out that uses some very, very inexpensive lights to light yourself or your subject. And I ran through a whole bunch of different, examples of how you could use that light, but that's an example that you can take a look at, but it is definitely going to be important. A lot of people are very smart because they understand lighting. You can get away with using, for example, a window to bring in some natural light if you're going to film during the day. But you're going to want to know what time the sun goes up, the sun goes down, because if you're staying there and you're filming for a long time, that shadow or the sun is going to change its position. So it's really going to affect your lighting. But there are definitely some ways that you can do lighting in that sense. And there's definitely a lot of tutorials out there of how to light properly, and even with the phone. But it's definitely something that you're gonna wanna think about as you're getting into mobile filmmaking. All right, so number 5 is going to be the software of how you edit your videos. We've spoken about the quality of the picture, the quality of the audio. We spoke about lighting. And so now we're going to have a software to edit. Now, maybe you have a computer and there's some products out there and some software out there that allow you to edit there. Things like Filmic Pro if you have an Apple device, DaVinci, and there's tons of other programs out there, Premiere, whatever it may be. If you're into editing on computers, there's stuff out there. But me, for example, I was a mobile filmmaker in all its aspects. I used to record on my phone and I used to edit on my phone. And so with the phone, when it comes to the iPhone, for example, you have iMovie, which is completely free. It's gonna have its limitations of what you can and can't do. It's going to have audio limitations. It's going to have music limitations. It's going to come with a lot of limitations. And once again, it goes back to everything that we've been speaking throughout this video. Understand the limitations of your phone. But there are some great softwares that you can have on your phone that allow you to edit and do some fantastic jobs. So the one that I like is LumaFusion. LumaFusion didn't sponsor this video or anything like that, but I love that software. Man, it is a workhorse. It does everything that I threw at it. When I would import, from the phone, obviously, I would import drone footages, whatever it may be, and that phone never have any problems. It was a workhorse, and it was an iPhone 10. So it wasn't even the latest phone, and it was working a lot better than some computers out there. But having something like that is gonna be great. With something like LumaFusion, you're gonna have some pretty decent transitions. It's going to give you up to 5 layers of video. It's gonna be giving you up to 5 layers of audio, and you can subscribe to story blocks through the app directly. If you were to go to Storyblock's website right now, it costs $50 a month to have their subscriptions to music, to stock footage, to things like that. And so they have a smaller package directly through LumaFusion that costs $10. And it gives you stock footage, it gives you audio, it gives you sound effects, it gives you music. And I know in the beginning when I started filming, I would look for music all over the place, and it took so much time to find the right music. And so even though there's limitations on the quality of music on Storyblock in LumaFusion, it is still a great resource to have. And so I am a big component, or to me it's very important to have ease at hand. Right? If I have to go all over the place, it's really going to disrupt my creative flow. So being able to do everything on my phone and just go through music and find it, and sound effects and find it, and whatever it may be, it's really cool to be able to have that. And I can color grade inside of there. I can, tweak and adjust my audio. So it's really a complete package. And so there are a lot of softwares out there that require you to have a subscription to their software in order for you to use it. And LumaFusion is a one-time fee, but the Storyblocks is $10 a month. So once again, it's really great for the bang for your buck. You know, prior to LumaFusion, I used Adobe Rush, I think it was called at the time. I'm not really sure what it's called now, but that had a monthly subscription and it really didn't have any music. Now, the thing that I did like about it is it had some great transitions and some great titles, opposed to in LumaFusion, you have the ability to create everything from scratch. And so being able to have something like LumaFusion or something equivalent, and I'm sure if you have another software, you know, go ahead and throw it on the comments below. I would love to kind of hear what you guys are using to edit your videos. But really that's the key right there, is being able to have something that's easy, convenient, and really give you a lot of tools in order for you to create something really, really great. So that pretty much wraps up the 5 things that I think you need to get into mobile filmmaking. And I will list 2 more things that I think are super important. One is a given, which is a tripod. You want to be able to fix your phone and not have it move or fall, whatever it may be. So there are some very inexpensive tripods, but you want something sturdy, especially if you're gonna, you know, record outside and you have wind and all that kind of stuff. But the great thing is that the phone is not really that heavy. So you don't have to have an extremely heavy duty tripod, but really it depends on the content you're creating. It depends on the environment that you're gonna be shooting in. So that's a key thing to kind of look at also. The second thing is going to be a gimbal, right? I personally think that having a gimbal really takes your videos to the next level. But once again, it's really gonna be determined on the type of content you shoot. Heck, there are gimbals, like for example, this is the gimbal that I have. This thing is probably a couple years old, but man, if you are on a budget, this thing is awesome. I think you can pick this one up for maybe 60, 70 bucks. They have the newer ones that are somewhere around $100 to $200, depending on which brand you want to use. There's a lot out there, but really it's going to eliminate the shaking. If you've ever recorded anything on your phone, as you're walking, you're gonna have that shake, you know, and once again, if you're trying to portray maybe an action shot and you're moving around, maybe that's what you want. But, you know, me, for example, when I was recording my stuff, especially because I recorded some customer stuff on my phone and I didn't want to have that shakiness, you know, having something like a gimbal is a game changer, really. It's going to really have your footage buttery smooth. You know, you're not really gonna have a lot of shakes, you know, on it, and it's really gonna up the production value on your videos. You know, you can run with it, and once again, it really looks nice. It looks cinematic, you know, if you're doing videos or content for other people. But that's really gonna wrap up this video. If you've stayed to the very end, thank you very much. You know, if you like the content that, you know, I'm throwing up on this channel, you know, you can like and subscribe. You know, I'm gonna continue to create content around mobile filmmaking and some of the other projects that I'm working on, and I wanna be able to kind of show those on this channel. So I really appreciate everyone that's watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.